What's going on, everybody? This is Neilville Piano, and welcome to the first episode of the NVP Show with your host, as always, Neilville Piano. I am really excited to be here with all of you guys and starting here at Radio Vision Network. We have a lot of topics to get through here in this half hour, so without further ado, let's get to it. First topic we're going to talk about, the MLB trade deadline. Obviously, the deadline is coming up in a few days, and what we're going to be talking about first is the New York Mets and what they need to do. Well, I was actually at a Mets game 2 days ago with one of my friends, and we saw them play. They lost 2-1 to the Colorado Rockies in the first of a 4-game set. They had a 1-0 lead going into the top of the ninth and blew it. Now, the interesting thing about that game was that in the bottom of the seventh, the Mets had the bases loaded and nobody out and didn't score any runs. The Rockies had the bases loaded in the top of the ninth and scored 2 runs and won the game. What does that tell you? That tells me that the Mets, just like last year, are lacking offense. Their pitching staff is phenomenal. Jacob deGrom that day pitched outstanding, going 7 innings of scoreless ball. But the Mets just don't have any offense. They're struggling. You know, we're almost at the 1-year anniversary of when Wilmer Flores hit that walk-off home run against the Nationals a couple days after he was reported to be traded for Carlos Gomez. And then the Mets ended up getting Yoenis Cespedes in a deal with the Detroit Tigers to get their offense going. They need to do another deal. And I think that there was one guy out there that they should go after, and that's Jay Bruce, the outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds. He's a big bat, and he could really help bolster the offense for the Mets. The next team we're going to talk about is the New York Yankees. So excuse me for taking off this Mets hat. The Yankees, as a lot of people have seen this year, also are struggling with offense. So basically you can say New York City is the home of no offense, period, and great pitching. Happens. The Yankees have a lot of very, let's call them older players on their team. They seriously need to do what teams like the Philadelphia Phillies have done this year, and that is to do something that the Yankees have never done, at least in what I've seen, is that make a youth movement. They really need to start having these young guys come up like Aaron Judge and Billy McKinney, who they just got in a deal for Aroldis Chapman with the Cubs. And they need to let these guys come up and play and develop them so that they can stay on this team for a long time and make some noise, because the Yankees are, you know, just a few games over 500, and we're not sure whether they're going to make the playoffs or not. And we have no idea whether they're going to continue to be sellers or buyers at the trade deadline. And they only have today and tomorrow until 4 o'clock Eastern time, p.m., and they got to make some moves. Otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen. They might miss the playoffs again. And once again, a lot of Yankees fans are going to be asking Cashman, "What are you doing? What's going on? You know, we need to see something going on here. Otherwise, you know, we want you gone." And they'll probably want Girardi gone, and they'll want everybody gone. They want a clean house. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see in the next day and a half of what deals are going to happen. So far, not many, except the Yankees obviously dealing away Aroldis Chapman, which in my opinion made absolutely 100% no sense. They already had Andrew Miller and Dylan Betances. Why in the world did they need to get a third closer? I understand, 7, 8, 9. But their problem is not pitching for the 85th time. Their problem is hitting. They lack offense. Their best hitter is a 36-year-old Carlos Beltran. Are you for real? How many more years is he going to play with the Yankees? This is ridiculous. If he gets hurt, who's going to be the next offensive machine for the Yankees? So I'm saying, make a youth movement and focus on the future. I know it's tough in New York City because New York fans want a winner immediately, but you have to build a team in order to win some championships. You have to have a good mix of young guys and veterans who have been there. That's why the Yankees in the late 90s and early 2000s were so successful. They had a mixture of both. They had a young Jeter, a pretty young Posada. They had Bernie Williams. They had a few other guys, and they were phenomenal. They won a couple of rings together. So they really need to do a youth movement. That is the biggest key. And the third team I want to go over in Major League Baseball is the Philadelphia Phillies. As I mentioned before, they're doing a youth movement. They're actually a lot better than people expected them to be. I'm pretty sure most people expected them to finish in dead last. But in my opinion, I am really happy, and it's really fun to watch them because they have very little expectations. And so they have all these young guys coming up. They're playing well, and the only deal I think they should even make or consider making is trying to get rid of Ryan Howard to finally get away from all the past years and focus on the future and focus on getting better. They have an ace in their staff in Aaron Nola. In a few years, he's going to become one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think he'll become the next Clayton Kershaw, in my opinion. I heard a trade that was supposed to happen with the Texas Rangers with the Phillies for pitcher Velasquez, but that, unfortunately, I heard earlier today that was not going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Phillies are going to do in the next day and a half to see if they're going to continue their rebuild, or are they going to keep the guys they have and continue to rebuild through their farm system, which, by the way, is probably the best in baseball. They have a fantastic, and I mean fantastic, minor league system. I was just at a Trenton Thunder game last night, and I was looking at the standings and some of the stats. They have the top two players in home runs leading that league. One guy has 30 and the other guy has 26. And that was when I heard that Chris Sale flipped out, and I mean flipped out, when he saw those jerseys, the old jerseys that the White Sox are supposed to wear for a game. And he tore up not only his own, but the entire team's uniforms. He didn't want anybody to wear them. And he has a temper tantrum at times, unfortunately. And that's going to be tough. And I heard he's on the trade market. And that's going to be tough. I don't think the White Sox should consider trading him away. I think they should build their team around him, get some offense, and be competitive. They're one of the more competitive teams against their crosstown rival, the Chicago Cubs. I've seen them play a few times on ESPN, and they've played pretty well against them. They have some good players, including New Jersey native third baseman Todd Frazier, who is continuing to live up to his expectations in Chicago, and I think he'll continue to get better and better. But back to my point, Chris Sale, if I was him, I would seriously consider relaxing. I know that the jerseys suck, but look, you're getting paid millions of dollars to pitch in Major League Baseball. You shouldn't be the one dictating the jersey. You should be just happy that you're getting paid that much money to support your family and do everything that's possible. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk NFL and NBA and actually also Major League Soccer. So we'll see you in that.
Southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the Southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
All right, welcome back to the NVP Show. I'm your host, Neil Villapiano. And the next topic we're going to go over is the NFL and the NFL training camp. So the first team we're going to talk about is the New York Football Giants, as a lot of people like to say. And their biggest news is their new head coach, Ben McAdoo. Obviously, he was the offensive coordinator last season under Tom Coughlin, but now that Tom Coughlin got fired and has moved on, it's time for the Ben McAdoo era. And so it's going to be interesting, especially for guys like Eli Manning, who have played their entire career under Tom Coughlin, to now play under a new head coach. He's an offensive guy. He came from Green Bay and helped develop Aaron Rodgers. But here's the difference. Aaron Rodgers is much more mobile than Eli Manning. That's just the obvious case. If you've watched some of the games, it's pretty obvious. But what has changed is that Eli Manning had his best statistical season last year. He lit it up. And unfortunately, his defense did not help him out, and they lost a bunch of games, including that game against the New Orleans Saints last year, the day after Halloween, where he threw 6 touchdown passes and still lost the game. If you throw 6 touchdown passes, you're supposed to win. That shows you how bad the Giants' defense was. But they got a couple players. They drafted Eli Apple. They signed Oliver Vernon. They got a bunch of new guys on the defense, spent a lot of money, and I mean a lot of their money that they had in their cap. So only time will tell to see how well this defense goes. The biggest thing for me that I want to see this year is the defense, actually, about how well they're going to perform. I'm not really worried about the offense. I think it's going to be big, especially that Victor Cruz is coming back and he's fully healthy instead of last year where it was kind of 50-50. He's fully healthy. He's coming back, and it's really going to be fun to see him, Dwayne Harris, Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz. Those are 3 interesting guys, including also now rookie receiver out of Oklahoma, Sterling Shepard. That, 4 tough wide receivers right there. That's going to be very interesting to see how their offense goes. But their defense needs to prove to me something. They need to prove if they can get better. And if they don't, then it's just going to be another season where the Giants miss the playoffs because their defense lets them down. So we're going to have to see in the future, especially with training camp coming up, and it's underway now, and we'll have a few preseason games in the next couple days. And like I said, only time will tell, and we'll see where everything goes. The next team, and this team makes me laugh hysterically, is the Giants' little brother. And yes, I said little brother, the New York Jets. They just signed Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 1-year, $12 million deal. Are you serious? You spent all that time arguing with him, not talking to him, and all you did was get him for 1 year? If I'm Ryan Fitzpatrick, I wouldn't even give myself a pat on the back. You didn't get the money that you wanted. You wanted a lot more money for one great season. He came out of an Ivy League school, Harvard, played for the Buffalo Bills, didn't do that well, comes to the Texans, does okay, comes to the Jets and has a great year. And now all of a sudden he wants a lot more money than he's worth? The Jets don't need him. And they don't need Geno Smith either. They have their quarterback of the future, and that's Bryce Petty. They really need to develop this guy. I saw him play numerous times at Baylor in his senior year, and he lit it up. I know he plays in a spread offense, but I still feel like he can develop and get better and be the Jets' future quarterback. When I heard that the Jets had drafted this past year quarterback Christian Hackenberg out of Penn State, I was like, why? They already have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. But at the time, Ryan Fitzpatrick had not signed. So they were saying, well, if we don't get Fitzpatrick, we have Geno Smith and we have all those guys. But even now that they have Fitzpatrick back, I don't really see why you would need to keep Hackenberg. I know he's young, but that's another guy. I think that they should either cut him or trade him or do whatever it takes to get him off their roster. They don't need him, and they don't need Fitzpatrick. The only quarterback, like I said, that they need is Bryce Petty. So going back to my first point with Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's a joke that, 1 year, $12 million. I know Brandon Marshall really loves playing with him, but he's just, to me, he's overrated. He's vastly overrated. I can name a bunch of other quarterbacks that are better, including Tony Romo. And I know Giants fans are going to get mad at me, but I think Tony Romo was clearly better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Out of the 30 teams, he's probably like 27, 28, in my opinion. That's just me. Another interesting thing with the Jets is Brandon Marshall made a nice little bet with Pro Bowl receiver Antonio Brown. And the bet went like this. If Brandon Marshall finishes the season with more receiving yards than Antonio Brown has to give Marshall his Rolls-Royce car. That is a nice car, by the way. I've seen the inside of it. It's nice. Trust me. But if Marshall loses, then Marshall has to give his custom New York Jets Porsche to Antonio Brown at the end of the season. So these are all funny games, but the Jets always seem to make me laugh. They do things that try to get him in the paper, and they need to focus more on their team. I get why Brandon Marshall wants to do this. He wants to have motivation to do well. But with a quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick, I just don't see it. And Antonio Brown's got Ben Roethlisberger. I know he's getting up there in age, but he can still throw the ball deep. He can still sling it. So I think Antonio Brown's going to win this bet. And not only win it, I think he's going to win it by a long shot. I know Marshall has some skills that Antonio Brown does not have, but Antonio Brown, besides Odell Beckham, is the most athletic wide receiver I've seen in the NFL. He is incredible. His athleticism is off the charts. He can jump very high. He can catch the ball really well, and he has some incredible speed. So I think Brandon Marshall is going to be, unfortunately, without another car at the end of the season. The last team I want to go over is the Philadelphia Eagles. We all know about Sam Bradford. He was pissed off that the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz, but Sam Bradford should use that as motivation. And I've heard that he's been doing well in camp in the beginning of training camp. And so he really should use this as motivation to prove that he's the best quarterback for that team and that Carson Wentz has to wait his turn. As for the Eagles and their team in general, it's going to be tough to see whether they want to trust Bradford or do they want to go after the rookie and just start over again. In my opinion, start over again. Sam Bradford is very overrated. He's not that good. I've seen him play. I just don't like him at all. He did okay with the Rams, but he was injury prone. I feel that he'll continue to be injury prone. I obviously don't wish for him to get hurt, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And if he does, then you have to go to Carson Wentz. You need to develop him. In this preseason, I would like to see the Eagles use him a lot and let him get as much playing time as possible so that even if he's not the week one starter, he can still feel like that he is ready to go at a moment's notice. And another interesting thing with the Eagles is their new head coach, Peterson. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does. I remember Peterson as a backup quarterback to Brett Favre back when Favre was still playing. So I want to see how he does with his new offense and how he's going to do with quarterbacks. All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about Major League Soccer. That should be interesting. We'll see you back here in a minute.
This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
I'm back. What's going on? We're back here on the NVP Show, and we're getting ready to talk about our last topic, and it's going to be Major League Soccer. This is a league and a sport that not a lot of people, not only in Jersey, but in the entire country, don't talk about. Major League Soccer, obviously, is the professional soccer league here in the United States, and there's also a team in Canada, the Toronto FC. Just pointing that out. And the reason I want to talk about this is because last Sunday I went to an MLS game. It was the New York Red Bulls versus NYCFC. And that was, without a doubt, the most interesting game I've ever been to. I couldn't believe how many fans came out. It was packed. There was a lot of enthusiasm. There was a lot of passion. There were signs up everywhere. They were shooting fireworks. When they shot the fireworks off during the national anthem, you could literally feel the ground shake. That's how I got goosebumps just watching it. It was incredible. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. And I really love watching the sport. 2 days ago, I watched the MLS All-Star game, and they were playing Arsenal FC, which is a big talented team in England. And that is a way for them to get their name out there, for you, the fans, to watch and get to see who the players are. There are some tremendous players in MLS, including United States captain Clint Dempsey, and Spanish all-star David Villa, and Italian star Andre Pirlo. Those are some really mentionable names that if you're a big soccer fan and watch a lot of soccer throughout the world, you've heard of those names. We obviously heard there was some rumors coming on around last month and also last year about Cristiano Ronaldo, the big talented Portugal striker, that he was going to come to the MLS and play for Los Angeles FC. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know if he's thinking about it. He's going to want a lot of money, let's put it that way. But also, I think it would be tough for him because the league is still developing. It's still trying to get its name out there. But I feel that it's continuing to slowly progress and make itself known. And I'm really happy for them that even I, myself, who wasn't watching soccer last year, is now fully intent on watching as many games as possible because it's that entertaining. I love the passion. I love the teams. I really love the players. I love pretty much everything about it. So you could definitely consider myself an MLS fan. I even have a New York City FC hat to prove it. So you have that, ladies and gentlemen. And so, like I said, it's just going to continue to get better and better and better. And I'm really looking forward to MLS becoming a big sports league that a lot of people talk about, including, Fox and all those guys. I really hope that it just continues to get more popular. So the next and last topic I want to go over today is the NBA. Now, there's obviously not a lot going on. There's been some signings that hopefully you guys have seen. But I want to talk about 3 local teams, and I'll make this pretty quick. Let's start with the Brooklyn Nets. To me, they're still called the New Jersey Nets, but they're the Brooklyn Nets now. They got a bunch of new guys, including Jeremy Lin. So, again, New York's got Linsanity. Oh, boy. And so, the Nets, they've been struggling ever since they got to Brooklyn. They went to go win a championship. They didn't do it. Now they got a clean house, and now they're doing a rebuild. And I think that's great that they're doing a rebuild. I just don't think they should be in Brooklyn, but that's just my opinion. They should go back to Jersey. Some people can argue with me, but that's just me. The New York Knicks. Now, there is an interesting team. They traded for Derrick Rose. Big news. Obviously, he's injury prone. He's gotten He's not performed at the level that he used to at his MVP year. But I think with the addition of him and a few other guys, they're going to become a super team. He said a few days ago that he feels the Knicks are a super team with Carmelo and Porzingis and a bunch of other guys. I agree with them. I think they're the team that could knock off the Golden State Warriors. That might come as a shock to the whole basketball world. And I'm not even a Knicks fan. But trust me, I think that they can be a serious contender to not only make the finals, but win it all. And with regards to Golden State, I despise them more now that they got Kevin Durant because they're making the NBA not fun at all and not enjoyable. So I'm not impressed at all. And the last thing I want to go over is the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, they drafted Ben Simmons #1 overall, and they got him now. And so they're gonna slowly continue their rebuild with Jahlil Okafor and Nerlens Noel. They obviously are known for their big guys. But I feel like if they can build their team around him, get some more young guys, build also around Jahlil Okafor, the Sixers in 3, 4, 5 years could once again become a serious contender and bring back some great memories that Allen Iverson brought in the early 2000s when he helped them to the NBA Finals. So another only time will tell situation. We don't know how good Ben Simmons is going to be. We don't know how he's going to perform at the NBA level. We saw him in the Summer League with all the other rookies. He played phenomenal. And, only time will tell, like I said. And speaking of the Summer League, there is one player I want to mention that impressed me a lot, and that was the Michigan State point guard, Denzel Valentine, who's now with the Chicago Bulls. He kicked Mofobo, if you ask me. He really did well. He hit the game-tying shot and the game-winning shot in the Summer League Finals game. He really played well, and I think out of all the guys in the NBA, all the rookies, Denzel Valentine is definitely going to be somebody that is going to definitely become a superstar in the next couple of years. I want to thank everyone for making this possible. Radio Vision, especially my friends, my family. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really happy that I'm getting this opportunity to tell you guys about the world of sports, especially up in the North Jersey area and even some Philadelphia. So hopefully we continue to get more fans. And I really hope that you guys continue to watch this show because it's going to get better and better. For my social media, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NeelyV17. My Instagram is at NVPQB11. And this is kind of weird, but even my Snapchat, if you're interested, is at NVPQB11. And you can also follow me on Facebook at Neil Villapiano. So once again, I'm really excited for this opportunity, and I hope that we can continue to talk about sports. And we're just going to have a great time. So thank you all very much. This has been Neil Villapiano, and you have been watching the NVP Show. So have a great day for all you NVPs out there.
Saving your business money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Tanker Consulting Services, a payment solutions expert, will show you how with a free, detailed, written analysis illustrating your cost savings. We usually uncover savings between 10 and 25%, and sometimes more. We can help your business succeed by providing reliable and secure merchant payment solutions such as merchant services programs, point-of-sale systems, and ATM machines. TCS, one of the leaders in regional credit card processing consulting, offers electronic payments to merchants locally and nationwide through our preferred vendor programs. We work to keep business costs down with a comprehensive suite of quality products, services, and customized credit card processing programs exclusively tailored for your company. TCS is convenient, reliable, and innovative, with customer service available 24/7, 365 days a year. Our in-depth industry knowledge, partnership strategy, and innovative processing solutions allow for a specialized approach to providing merchant bank processing with 100% full fee disclosure. TCS is one-stop shopping for all your merchant services solutions. Our clients save money 100% of the time. Trust Tanker Consulting Services, the knowledgeable, professional, and friendly provider of secure payment services. We set the standard by which others are measured. Call now for a free written analysis. 609-922-0201.
You haven't been to Speed Raceway.